Hello and welcome to yet another episode of Chai in the Bay, where we unpack modern life.
Hi, I'm Shipra with my longtime besties and co-hosts of the show, Deepa and Manisha.
So settle in for a cozy conversation while the chai warms your hands and heart. Today we're going to be talking about something that affects millions of women, but hardly anyone prepares us for. Perimenopause. Perimenopause is a stage, a transition before menopause. It's anxiety that feels new. It's sleep that suddenly breaks. Body no longer responds the way it used to. So the confusing part is it usually kicks in your late 30s or early 40s, right when we are juggling career growth, kids, aging parents, and co-responsibilities.
Sure.
So the question becomes, is something wrong within me or something shifting within me? And that's what we're going to be unpacking today.
Yeah.
Sure, before we proceed, if you like the content that we are producing, please support us by subscribing to our channel or liking our content, our videos.
Awesome. So I want to start today with a myth or fact. What that is I'm going to say a line, information, and you guys going to guess, hey, is it a myth or a fact?
Okay.
All right. Okay, the first thing. Perimenopause, if your periods are regular, you are not in perimenopause.
No, myth.
You're
I don't know actually.
So I'm right, she said.
Yes, hormonal shift happens years before cycles become irregular. So you're right. All right.
So you could be in perimenopause even though your periods are regular.
Yeah.
Interesting. Okay.
Weight gain during perimenopause is purely due to eating more.
Oh God, no.
Let that be a myth. It is a myth.
Yeah, myth.
Metabolism, insulin sensitivity, and fat distribution shift basically makes that happen. All right. How about, okay. Anxiety can increase during perimenopause even if your life circumstances have not changed.
True. God,
I
I'm
think so.
answering all
Yes.
this like
You have researched your perimenopause research too much.
It's a fact. It's estrogen that's causing it. All
The
right.
anxiety? Okay,
Yeah.
that's not me. It's not me. It's not my life circumstances. I attribute it to perimenopause.
Okay, you're going to love this one. Lower alcohol tolerance can be an early sign of perimenopause.
Oh, really?
Is it myth or a fact? First guess.
Oh, is it a myth or a fact?
I would like to believe it's a fact. I'm consuming very little alcohol. I'm not into alcohol these days.
Then you are in perimenopause. It's a fact. See, many women notice worse sleep and stronger reactions to alcohol apparently when they are. Okay. Perimenopause can last up to 8 to 10 years. Myth or fact. Yes.
Yeah, it's a fact. As I'm learning just very recently.
One last one. Perimenopause can worsen ADHD symptoms. Myth or fact?
I don't
I'm
know.
going to guess. I don't know. I'm going to guess true.
True, yeah.
It is a fact. Estrogen fluctuations actually can cause
ADHD.
Yeah.
Okay.
The whole circuitry is so messed
Yeah.
up.
The hormones, what they do to
I
our
wish
bodies.
we could just like move around with a poster on that says, "Don't judge me." This is not me. It's not me. It's perimenopause.
Let's make a t-shirt. So I'm curious. So what was you both experiences? What were your experiences in terms of recognizing, hey, I'm in perimenopause? Or what symptoms you went through? Anything you want to share?
Sure. So I would acknowledge that my knowledge of perimenopause is very recent, like maybe in the last year or so. It started with symptoms actually, and the symptoms were I started forgetting names. I would be driving and then I would have just sudden lapse and I just cannot remember where am I headed. And so I started putting it together and I honestly thought that this is like an early onset of dementia or something. Because I had not heard about perimenopause. Nobody told me about it. My doctor did not mention it to me. Okay. So it's not just something that like you hear people talk. That you hear about, menstrual cycle begins, you hear about menopause, but perimenopause is not that much talked about concept at all. Um, and then I'm also I've always been a very thick-blooded person, so that means that I'm generally the person who's always cold, generally. And then over the last few years, suddenly I'm like always hot, and I couldn't put my finger on it. And my husband is like, I don't know why, like nobody else is this hot. What is going on with you? So I did not understand. Like for me, these were unrelated symptoms that were happening, and I was looking for information, specifically not being able to remember people's name, because it got very embarrassing at work. You know that this is person you met, like 3 months ago, and now you're shaking hands, you're talking to them, and you just cannot remember their name. You remember everything else.
Yeah.
So then, I started hearing about it a little bit as I started researching dementia. And then in the process, and my periods also became irregular. So that's how I ended up putting two and two together, and then started realizing that this is all, pointing towards one common situation, which is perimenopause, and I could be in it. I don't know officially yet.
You haven't gone to the doctor
I've
about
gone to the doctor. The doctor, my primary care physician, doesn't mention anything about it.
Really?
Yeah, she
That's
never
so
mentioned
interesting.
anything. Doesn't
You're
talk
actually
about it.
not the first person to tell me that.
But what do you mean? There's no test or anything, right? They also hear your symptoms, your age, and put two and two together. Yes?
I guess so. For me, the flip side, like I'm completely opposite of you. I think I've had much more exposure to all of these symptoms and the fact that there is perimenopause. Probably because I have much older sisters than me, so we have much more open conversation about it. I had already spoken to my PCP several years back that this is happening, and you need to add this. So every wellness check, she would check in with me. Okay, has this changed? Has this, like, she would sort of go through those symptoms, and we would have this checklist of are we there yet or not. And but for me, when I sort of recognized it was I guess recently. My trigger was more, I was having like more the depression side of symptoms. And I thought, and then when I started sort of took my appointment for actually my mental health symptoms, and then I was like, oh, I'm going to the doctor anyways. Let me, these other things also I'm experiencing. Let me just make a list of them. I'm going to go talk to her. Might as well just figure all of it out together. So when she saw my gamut of symptoms on my phone, on my list, and she's like, oh, maybe it's that because you have the family history, or it could be thyroid issues. Let's get a test for both, and we'll figure out. Like, it's a matter of ruling out one. If it's not one, it's the other. It's, as simple as that. So we did the tests, and we figured out that I was actually in perimenopause. So that was a very, like, it's something that, and I was actually expecting, even though I knew a lot about it, I was expecting that my cycle will change before any other symptoms will pop up.
Yeah.
But because I was, going through this other thing.
It is interesting. We are just three people. How we have three different
experiences.
Mine is totally different. It's like I knew I had some knowledge, but not because there was family history or any conversation like that. But in general, But somehow, whenever there were symptoms, I never identified that with this. Could it be this, right? Like, for example, I also had some brain fog, like will forget suddenly, hey, why did I come to this room? Hey, why did I pick up this? Whatever, I forget. Or sometimes I had a hair fall or weight fluctuations. Sure. But I always attributed that to, it's too much stress at work.
Stress.
Or, I did not really spend enough time taking care of myself. Or never, associated that with perimenopause while I had all the knowledge about it. So it took a while. I mean, then after some time, it could be prolonged, it could be a year or two, I don't know.
Yeah. So how did you come to the conclusion that this is perimenopause?
Because some of the other symptoms, there were new symptoms. Like now I got some anxiety about, okay, there is something unexpected in my workload or whatever. I need to be prepared very well, right? Something. So I had some new symptoms of anxiety or something that I have not seen before. Then I started questioning, okay, maybe the other things that I actually ruled out was also related to perimenopause. That's how I identified. But there is no test per se, like to check whether you are in. So I cannot really say like there I am. That's something I'm asking myself. Okay, if perimenopause is a certain duration, where am I?
Yeah,
Am I
no,
starting
I don't
out?
think
Am
that
I-
that is
you
a
know?
conclusive. There is any conclusive test for that.
Yeah,
For sure.
yeah.
So, but doctors don't talk about it though, right? Like in your
So
case,
my case, yeah,
she did
were
because
pretty
you
open.
mentioned it, or is
yeah.
it something
I
that
brought about
No,
you
I
brought
think
up?
that yeah,
Yeah.
mine has been pretty open about it. Like my, the milestone birthday conversations with my PCP have always been okay. You can start expecting to see these changes, and so even she herself had we had these conversations of this is coming. Expect to see these things, and if you do, flag them. So she was certainly building that awareness.
We
in
should
me.
we should find out who her PCP is.
I bring you to my PCP too, but I always wanted to measure my estrogen level. But she would say, that's not a very reliable test because it varies depending on your cycle, depending on the day. So there's not a clear, measure, whatnot. But I don't believe you shared what your symptoms were. What are some things you went through?
Embarrassing symptoms. You want all of them? For me, the biggest trigger was mental health issues. I was feeling a lot of symptoms of depression. So that was one. The other ones were, of course, the hair loss, the weight fluctuations. I didn't notice it as such till I actually went to the office and got on a scale, and I was suddenly 7 pounds over, and wait, what happened here? That was completely new. Skin changes, definitely sleep changes. I wasn't getting hot flashes, but like you, I was always more warm than everybody else in the room. So I think that okay, the most embarrassing one, which is so weird, is bowel movement changes. Right?
What do you mean by
nobody tells you your bowel movement and pattern changes.
Interesting.
It's completely, it's like, wait, what?
See, the thing is, we associate these things with other kinds of problems.
Exactly.
You associate these with aging. You associate these with life circumstances, with alcohol, etc.
Yeah.
But I feel that there is still not enough knowledge, understanding, awareness, discussion about this at all. And I honestly don't know if, my mom, for example, does she even know about this? I don't think that their generation knows it. They know about menopause, but perimenopause, I doubt
My mom
that.
can just go through it's just given. I just go through it like that.
Our parents' generation certainly, this
Didn't know, didn't care.
But then also there is a thing of everything is very hush hush, right? Anything related to female reproductive system is very hush hush. So even if people were going through things, you were not talking about it. Even today, I mean, at least our generation, I feel like we are much more open with our children. But that was not the case growing up in my in my childhood. That was not a thing.
Right? Yeah. The other aspect of this whole thing is, so we are starting to talk about it a little bit. I don't think it's still as openly talked about topic just yet. But I think the bigger implication of this is at workplace.
Yeah.
Don't you think so? Because workplace is where it manifests its symptoms the most in some way, form, or fashion, right? You could be in meeting and suddenly, you have hot flashes, or you don't know, even you yourself don't know if what you're experiencing is because of this transition that you're going through, or you're just reacting to the circumstances, to the situation, to the setup you are in, right? So you don't know. I mentioned about the name thing. I think that is the most simplest but the most profound impact of this whole thing, right? You're shaking hands with people and you don't remember their names. And workplace is where you meet a lot of people day in and day out, and that's where not being able to remember, something as basic as name can have its,
I'm curious, how are you countering it? How are you managing it at work?
Okay, so as I said, my understanding and my awareness of this whole subject is still relatively very new, and I don't know if there are any, I should say, authentic sources of how to deal with it just yet available. So I'm trying to manage things in my own way. For example, it's a funny thing. I met this lady who came back after her maternity leave, and she and I, we had good we were not friends, we were not very close colleagues, but we would be pally with each other in meetings. And she shook hands with me, and I'm talking to her, and I'm just like, you just like, it's like you keep talking, you just don't name the name.
Somebody else can you please go?
You just name the name and then you go. It's actually silly. You go back and you look in the you remember like what team are they part of. So you go back and look at the org structure, find out their name.
See, this is why I love the remote meetings where you have those boxes and
So you can see the name.
Okay, perimenopause remote meetings.
Switch to remote meeting. Doesn't matter.
But don't you think also on the other side of thing, even if you don't also want to label yourself that, I feel like that's how I, in work, because then anything that goes wrong or, so I don't want somebody to look at me and say, oh, she won't be, able to handle this. I don't know.
I think that is definitely a concern. My concern is more the flip side of it, right? Like I know on certain days of the month, I'm much more snappy and quick to anger and irritable, and so those days just hope and pray that it doesn't.
Some days.
Yes, see, that's how you medicate. So you know exactly the days and you stay away from people on those days. So I think that is a little bit more scary for me.
So your concern is, will you not be able to control it?
I know that at home, my family knows that this is what's happening, so they are and they're my family, right? They are much more understanding. So I usually try to keep my social time limited on those days, and I'm being aware.
It's not predictable for you.
It is very
though?
predictable because I'm medicating. That's why it's very predictable when it's going to happen. I know that time period, and I just try and.
What do you mean by medicating? What are you doing?
Like to manage my hormones, I am taking medication.
Oh, really?
So then there is only a certain time when I know that I'm still going to have those symptoms, and that is the time when I know I need to stay away from people. We are not recording any podcasts on those days.
No, I have the concern too, but I'm not taking any medication. I'm not managing that way. So one thing I'm honestly mindfully doing these days is asking myself, like checking a temperature of my own self, and how do I feel this morning? How do I feel? And if I feel that I'm a bit, my patience is less thin, let's say, then I try to stay away from even responding to messages fast. It can show up in any way, right? It is hard though, because now it's sort of sometimes second guessing yourself or constantly resisting yourself, but there's no other way unless you have some predictability. That's my
so the medication part is interesting to me, so I'm curious, what are you guys doing? You are not doing anything. I'm not
so
doing
the
anything.
Question for you is, when you say medication, I'm guessing it is some sort of hormone medication, correct?
Yeah.
It's
a contraceptive.
How did you accept the risk? I heard that there are some risks around it.
It's a contraceptive, a very low dose contraceptive pill, like a once a day pill that you anyways take for contraception. So I have taken that pill in the past, and
you've been fine.
What is the purpose of taking this hormone medication? Is it to manage the symptoms, or is it to correct something? What is the point?
Essentially, because when I went to the doctor, I had a huge gamut of symptoms, right? So I was basically given two options with a strong recommendation for this one. Is you only, because the most profound symptom was the mental illness, we could just manage that, but then we would still be struggling with all of these. Those other symptoms don't go away. But because of the low hormones, having the once a day pill, it pumps the hormones back to your body, right?
And
so
that
you don't get the
symptoms.
Exactly. So that manages everything. So just that one thing manages everything for you. And because we said in the beginning, perimenopause can last like 10 years or more. So you want to, like my doctor was like, you want to live with this, or do you want to manage it? It's your choice. I mean, of course, medication is only one way of managing it. It's not going to be right for everybody.
It's not,
right. It is a very, very personal decision and also personal like use case, right? It may not be right for somebody for either of you, but it is right for me. The other thing is management through non-medicated ways, right? Definitely, because I've been doing a lot of research about it, my bone density, my workout routines now do include, things that will, or exercises that will improve my bone density. I'm making sure my diet is, whether it's gut health or it is, the different things that we use for managing nutrition during this time, all of that. I'm being more aware of those and including that very, very intentionally and managing through those ways. But I'm curious, what do you like without medication? How are you surviving? What are you doing?
Yeah, I mean, HRT is one of the still debated discussion, right? Whether there are risks, things like that. And so for me personally, I cannot take the medication, even no matter how bad the symptoms get for other reasons. So the way I manage is definitely prioritizing my fitness, workouts, strength training, especially. So a lot of women report frozen shoulders, things like that, right? And you don't even,
that was also on my list. I forgot.
And the bone density, joint health, all those, only solution is by doing the strength work.
Strength
right?
training.
So I think we have discussed in the past, like how all of us are fitness, oriented, but now I prioritized it more that it doesn't slip and it is more focused on strength training, and also like sleep hygiene is super important. That is something I've taken not taken care in the past decades. It's the one that'll get, but that is very important. Everything adds up at the end of the day, and every small thing. So nutrition, oh my god, I've skipped so many times vitamins, things like that. Supplements were always part of my nutrition, but still I may not be consistent at it in the past. Now I'm like, nope. And I've joined a group as well. There is a women's group where people bring and ask questions, discuss. It is so enlightening to see. I may not have all those symptoms, but it's a good reassurance. Oh, okay, I'm not alone. And second, I'm learning a lot because people have found out so many things, right? Like home care, supplements. So I'm learning a lot and using it as it goes.
Sure, that is interesting. I am actually not doing a whole lot, and hearing both of you, I feel like maybe I should. The few things that I do is obviously fitness, and I have come to realization. And again, I don't know if it is a combination of perimenopause and me just becoming more invested in my fitness regimen, is that if I don't work out, I do get very grumpy. So it helps me. I don't know if it is directly or indirectly helping with the perimenopausal symptoms. In fact, I have an announcement at home that if I'm not worked out, just expect a very, very grumpy mom coming your way. Food-wise, just being more, again, conscious of eating high protein, taking in more protein, because that ultimately helps with aging or anything else, like for muscle and bone growth. Not growth, but managing that. And then I'm also not very big on supplements, but maybe that is something I should explore more. Is what I feel.
I think so.
Yeah. When you do supplements, come to me. We can have a long discussion on that, because supplements also, like, you don't want to be consistently taking the same thing every day. You have to switch up, and some things should be.
Know this one.
See, I've been taking the same thing for I don't know how many years. No. So there are nuances to it. Absolutely, we can discuss, which is. We three are the same. Like, we prepare, we are intentional, all that. With all the intentions, I still feel like I didn't intentionally prepare for the perimenopause. Because I first of all didn't recognize it. Still sometimes questioning things like, is it this or is it something else?
How do you prepare for it? Like, it has to. I mean, I can tell you this, right? Me even knowing about it, there was nothing preparing me for it. I was like, I'll just watch out for my symptoms. When it happens, we'll figure it out. Right? And even then, I didn't recognize it. It was like, it hit me in my face. I was like, is this that? Who knows?
No, preparing in a sense. For example, I would have corrected some of my own behaviors or consistency issues. For example,
I see.
when I was doing fitness, I was running behind cardio, ignored strengthen. Like that I would have paid much attention.
Okay.
For example, nutrition, like I was survived with some coffee and cake at work because my meeting schedule was so crazy, the cafe would close.
Interesting.
So where did I track macros or protein, right?
Yeah.
Those are the things when I say prepare, I would have maybe made more attention to those things.
I see.
Gotten ready.
Yeah, I
Really, like for example, like we our birthdays come every year, so maybe 35, 36 you hit, I'm like, okay, I'm gonna get into this phase.
So now we know one more thing we can gift each other, right? On our birthdays.
Here's what my PCP shared with me. Exactly. What did yours say? I think that's the information exchange. We
Share
need.
good PCP, share pill boxes,
Share supplement list.
share supplement list.
So I'm curious. At home, how do you do you talk about it with kids? Like, our parents obviously did not have the awareness. We do. How are you dealing with all of this with kids?
Yeah, that's a good question. I try to be open with my daughters, but I don't, not necessarily the perimenopause symptoms and things like that. I don't highlight it, but it's in the open. They know, or when I am in that mood or highly irritated, whatever, I would say, hey, give me some space, whatnot. So they know. I don't explicitly say, you know what, these are the symptoms, blah, but I make it aware that, okay, this something happens during this stage.
Similar kind of a thing. I think my husband knows. He's the one who gets all the reminders that, just deal with it because XYZ. Kids is a different story, I think. I don't think that actively talking to them about it.
Okay. No, we have a joke running in our house is my teen and I are hormonal at the same time. Everybody watch out.
Well, there are many women that just sail through perimenopause with barely any symptoms. But for others, they feel like their body betrays them. There's no one right way to transition. Perimenopause is not a breakdown. It's a recalibration. Your body is requiring a very different type of support and your nervous system demands more care. So sometimes I feel like it can feel destabilizing. It can also be more clarifying. So you are not breaking down. It is just a transition, and transitions deserve understanding.
Yes, for sure.
Okay, on that note, why don't we get to our chai shot segment, our short little spicy round where I ask questions to my co-hosts and they are supposed to answer without backtracking, without overthinking.
All right.
Let's do it.
Alright, so you guys ready? Okay, here comes your first question. What hormone drops significantly during menopause? I have a feeling that you know the answer to this. Okay, here are your options. A. Estrogen. B. Adrenaline. C. Vitamin C. D. Coffee tolerance. You go, I already...
Estrogen.
Oh, such knowledgeable people. Okay, you guys have done your research. Okay, second question. Hot flushes can last anywhere from A. 5 seconds, B. 30 seconds to several minutes, C. 2 hours, D. An entire summer.
I'm sure it feels like an entire summer.
What about you?
I'm guessing 30 seconds to a few minutes.
Okay.
I don't know. It's a guess.
B too.
I'm not
Even
experienced.
I'm going to guess it's a B.
Clearly not done your research yet.
Not experienced there. What is the right
Okay,
answer?
the answer is actually, the clinical answer is B, which is 30 seconds to 7
That's
minutes.
what I said.
You too?
I said B.
But it feels like D.
It feels like D is what
Okay, full marks to Manisha and you too. Okay, alright, you both get full marks.
You are going through perimenopause right now, I feel like.
Okay, which of these is a surprisingly common menopause symptom? A. Brain fog. B. Night sweats. C. Forgetting you walked in a room. D. All of the above.
How is it different
All
from
of
brain
the
fog? Yeah, all of the above is what it is.
Okay. They're very, very knowledgeable on this. You guys should really DM them. What might someone say during a sudden mood swing in perimenopause? A. I'm perfectly calm. B. Give me 5 minutes. C. I don't know why am I crying either. D. Nothing affects me.
Okay. Now 3 is me.
Oh my god.
And that morning.
Honesty.
I think it's B.
You are B?
I'm B.
What is B
Oh
again?
my god, for a change you are in control and you are not.
What is B?
B is give me 5 minutes.
I think the
Deepa is
awareness
crying
comes,
and
right?
you're
Like,
asking
just
for
stay away.
It's not always. I mean, I've had mornings where I've had those kind of cry spells, and I'm like, I don't know.
Okay.
That's why you medicate. Then you don't have cry spells.
It's all fair game. All of the answers are correct answers. Okay, next question. Which unexpected life event can become more challenging during perimenopause? Okay, here are your options. A. Getting a good night's sleep. B. Watching TV. C. Reading books. D. Drinking water.
Has to be sleep.
Actually, no. None of those.
None of those?
Really? No impact on sleep for you?
No.
You can sleep well. You
My
can
only thing is,
watch
I feel like
TV
I'm very
and
tired when I wake up, though I slept. So,
But then you're just a person who likes to sleep a lot.
No, it is a symptom.
quality of
yeah.
See, for me, the quality of sleep has become bad. The sleep itself is not bad.
I
You
don't know,
what
because
mean?
my kids, they can sleep for 10, 12 hours and still wake up like they need more sleep. So.
No, I don't think it's need more sleep. It's you don't wake up fresh. Doesn't
don't wake
matter
up
how
fresh.
long you sleep.
Sleeping is the one that I have found the thing that has affected
You the
most. Yeah, I could like always sleep well in my 7 to 8 hours of sleep. But then, yeah, of late, just like falling asleep is the hardest part. And the more I think about it, the more I cannot sleep.
So this is the interesting one, right? See, as I said, I don't have problem falling asleep. I may wake up a few times at night, but I go right back to sleep. But then I don't feel when I wake up, I'm not rested. Then is it cortisol? Is it perimenopause? Those are the things.
But then cortisol does increase, and like perimenopause causes your cortisols to now act up more.
Right, but the thing is, you don't.
Ultimately all the root cause. Okay?
We
Symptoms or
have
whatever.
two experts here. Really DM them. I'm telling you, DM them. This one in particular, she even has a good PCP.
I can send referrals. No problem.
Okay, this is your final question.
Okay.
Which life skill often improves with age and experience during the menopause years? Okay. This is about menopause, so maybe you're preparing and thinking about it. A. Saying no to things you don't want to do. B. Remembering every password. C. Running faster. D. Folding laundry perfectly. What? Which skill often improves with age and so
I can fold
logical.
laundry. Yeah, laundry perfectly.
But how?
No.
Nothing to do
But
with age.
improves. What is improving for you? What do you think is going to improve? Which one
We
of
have
these
to
is
do
going
this
to
question again. You lost me. My brain fog is
Kick in. Do it all.
There's so much perimenopause talk has caused my symptoms to
kicking in right now? Okay. The logical answer to this is saying no to things you don't want to do,
Yeah.
because menopause happens when you have gotten to a certain age. That means you're more experienced, you're more wiser, you are more secure, and that means that you feel more in control about saying no to things that
That's
you
the
don't
ideal
want
part
to
you're
do.
talking
That's the ideal part. Of course, for Deepa, it could also be folding laundry. She's already
I'm
very
being
good at-
mindful and then
Oh my God.
well,
On that note, let's wrap up our chai short segments, our short and spicy and chaotic round.
This one certainly was.
This was, but lot of wisdom, clearly.
If this episode resonated with you and you feel like somebody else in your life should hear about it and will benefit from it, please do share it with them.
thanks for tuning in to yet another episode of Chai in the Bay. Please follow and subscribe. Let's keep this community growing.